So let's start by talking about planning and organizing. So that is component number one. I always prepare my environment and set a clear intention before starting focused work. So these are the two recommendations for incorporating into your life operating system. Firstly, before a focus session, write down what you actually want to do during it. This sounds like common sense, but it is not common practice. Lots of people do not do this, and this alone makes a massive difference to your success at focusing in a given session. This trains your brain to be intentional and focused rather than jumping in without direction. Keep it simple, just a single clear objective that you can realistically achieve in just one session. This also might sound like common sense, but it's definitely not common practice. I've had many times where I've started a focus session and I've forgotten to set myself my one intention. Like, what do I actually want to get done in this particular focus session? And then I start working on the computer, and then I'm on Slack and looking at my emails, and I'm going on Chrome and going on The Verge, and I'm sometimes going on Reddit, and I'm going on YouTube because, like, I'm a YouTuber, like market research, and before I know it, 29 minutes have passed and I haven't actually gotten anything done because I didn't actually make a plan for what I wanted to get done in the first place. So one of the things that we do within our focus labs and productivity lab is we encourage you to set an intention, to set a goal for the next 50 minutes. This is something super, super easy that everyone should start doing right now if you're not doing it already, and do more consistently if you're like me and you don't do it as consistently as you would like. And then we have organize. So generally what I recommend is before a focus session, spend 1 or 2 minutes decluttering your workspace. If you look around you right now, you probably have random crap that is on your workspace that really doesn't need to be there. And generally, a cluttered desk leads to a cluttered mind. I'd recommend clearing anything that's not essential for whatever you're working on, papers, devices, coffee cups that are empty. And you'll find that generally, for most people, I think I've read some studies about this, when you have a clear and decluttered environment, your brain also feels clear and decluttered, and you don't have all these different open loops vying for your attention. So that is what I would recommend. I recommend you spend a minute planning what you're actually going to do for the focus session, and like 1 or 2 minutes organizing, decluttering your workspace. Again, within the context of productivity lab. I know most of you are members of productivity lab. In the focus labs, we're going to encourage you to do this as well. So you can just rock up to a session, and one of our lovely productivity coaches who is facilitating the session will be encouraging you to, get rid of your coffee cup, get rid of that random pen or washi tape you've got lying around, or that random notebook that's getting in the way, or whatever the thing might be. Another thing I like to do personally is I have a post-it note which has fallen off my computer screen that says, "What would this look like if it were fun?" If anyone's read my book, this is a thing in my book. This is one of the most needle-moving things that can happen, other than tracking your focus minutes, more on that in a little bit. If you can just ask yourself a simple question, what would this look like if it were fun? Because generally, when we are enjoying whatever we are doing, we are more productive, we're more creative, we are less stressed, and we have more energy to then give to the other important areas of our life. I have written a whole book about it. If you haven't read it yet, you might like to, because that is all about this whole enjoyment piece. The more enjoyment you're having, the less you have to worry about discipline, and the less you have to worry about running out of energy. There are also a couple of focus tools that can be helpful for some people. So Opal is an app blocker. If you are one of those people who really struggles with like being distracted by social media and stuff when you're on your phone, then I would recommend downloading Opal. Forest is also very good as a kind of Pomodoro timer focused. It basically helps you track the number of focus minutes you've spent focusing on stuff. My team and I are actually in the process of building a sort of amalgamation of Opal, Forest, and Toggle. So we're building an app called Super Focus, but the idea is that it's a combination of Opal, which it blocks distracting apps on your phone, Forest, in that it's like a Pomodoro timer thing, and Toggle, in that it will track how much time you're actually spending focusing, all in one app. This is like the app that I wish I had. Unfortunately, it's not ready yet, so I have to recommend these apps, which unfortunately my team and I do not own. But for now, while Super Focus is still being built, if you would like to join the beta testing program, we'd love to have you. We've got about 400 people on it already. If not, you should download Opal or maybe try out Forest if you struggle to focus. That was simple, right? That was the first 5 minutes. We plan and we organize. And that's the first 5 minutes of the focus hour formula. Also, it doesn't have to be an hour. Sometimes it's 50 minutes, sometimes it's 60 minutes, sometimes it's 43, sometimes it's 28, sometimes it's 34. I don't like a rigid approach to focusing. I tend to just focus for however long I feel like it, and however long it takes my brain to start like really getting annoyed. Usually that's around the 45-minute mark. Most of the studies on this say that around the 45 to 55-minute mark is where most people seem to lose focus, and over time, you build that muscle. If you really, really suck at focusing, you can do 25 minutes, and then slowly work your way up over time. So this is the first 5 minutes, and that is component number 1 of the focused hour formula. That was nice and easy, fairly simple stuff. Basically, just make a plan before your focus session and spend a couple of minutes decluttering your workspace, and consider downloading some of these focus tools if it helps. So, easy. We can tick that off.